So what we want to do is I want to make sure I set her up for success, making her sip. Good girl. So the most important thing when you're working on leash walking with a dog is that you want to make sure that they're not pulling and you're not feeding into that pulling behavior. You'll notice I make noises to cue in Lexi's handler focus. When I do this and she looks at me, it helps get her back on track for whatever it is we may be working on. For this video, it was to cue back in that handler focus and set Lexi up for the best success with her leash walking during this session. So another thing I do to cue in Lexi's handler focus is to say the "this way" term. And what that does is gets Lexi to look at me so she understands that my body language is most likely going to change. Whether I'm going to turn around, walk down a different aisle, it sets her up to look at me and watch where I'm going. So when Lexi does pull, as she is a young puppy, it is bound to happen. When she walks out in front of me, I say, easy, and I let her hit the end of that leash. Once there's slack in the leash, we continue walking. You'll never see me pull Lexi back to my left side with that leash, as you'll notice that that'll teach your puppy or dog to pull harder. We don't want it to be like a game of tug of war. Instead, what we want is for her to realize when she's pulling herself at the end of the leash, we are not going anywhere. But when there's no attention and good slack in the leash, that's when we continue walking. I tell her yes, good girl, all of those positive marker words as she looks at me throughout walking on the leash, especially when I say "this way" or anything like that, that should cue in that focus. I feel it's important to note that Lexi does typically walk really great on leash, especially in stores and other public settings. That being said, this is a completely different environment on leash for her. Lexi's used to kind of running around and having fun on woods walks. So taking her out of that store and professional setting and into a field setting where she's typically being playful is really great and a type of distraction to work through. Lexi ended up doing really great, but I've seen her walk better. But this is why we practice in different environments and settings so that down the road Lexi will walk phenomenal on lead no matter where you are. Leave it. Good. Drop it. Good girl. This way. Good girl. This way. Good girl. This way. Lexi. Sit. Down. Down. Ready? Easy. And as always, ending with Lexi's strongest command, her sit command. Lexi's an all-around really good girl and such a sweet puppy.